Hello everyone, my name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium and I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is a request for a Wish We. This is, I believe, the first time I check out Final Fantasy XII, Zodiac Age. This is, you guys can let me know what the actual title is. It's either the Fight for Freedom, the Battle for Freedom, or the Struggle for Freedom. It's one of those. If I can get the official name, that'd be great. But this is the final boss theme from FF12. The only thing I've done from FF12, I think, was a battle on the Big Bridge, a version of it. And that's it. This is composed by Hitoshi Sakamoto, and this guy has a resume that is as long as I've been alive. So without further ado, this is my, I believe, could be wrong, my proper introduction to FF12. And it's a final boss theme, so that's interesting. Let's go. We're deviating away from Nobuo Matsu. Sounds like a very menacing boss fight if it starts like this. Good chance this is going to climb up. Wow. Whoa, big mood change right there. Sounds like a huge symphony. Menacing. Pretty dark. Long boss fight, I'm guessing. Alrighty. The struggle for freedom, the battle for freedom, the fight for freedom. AKA the final boss theme of FF12. A game I pretty much know nothing about. It's, for as long as I've been doing this and discovered Final Fantasy on this channel, 12 almost never gets mentioned at all. Same with 11 and pretty much anything below 5. I would say anything below 5, 11, X2, 13, and 12, like almost never really get mentioned all that often. I don't know why that is. I'm sure everyone has their own opinions. It seems the Final Fantasy community is very, very opinionated on what they like and what they don't like. That's okay, because they're all different. I guess that's the whole point, is, you know, they share similarities, but they're not, you know, it's, from what I've seen, they're meant to be pretty different games. Anywho, so this is now the second song I've heard, but I believe the first FF12 original. And I'm noticing there's this emphasis on like this orchestral side to it. And that might be the whole soundtrack. I could be wrong, but the two that I've heard has this kind of emphasis on that big ambient style of music. It kind of reminded me of like something like from like Dark Souls or from like FromSoft games, that kind of dynamic sort of just climbing, constant turmoil type of thing. I also get that in Monster Hunter sometimes as well. So it kind of reminds me also of like what this may have inspired like FF7 Remake down the line, where they use kind of traces of this kind of stuff, but also with the like heavier things. So this one has a lot of mood to it. Now, I will admit that nothing really stood out to me, but I'll explain that. It just seemed to me that this was a mood, you know, something that you just had to experience type of thing. I'll even go as far as to say that a lot of people that do remember this fight remember the fight itself, like the experience of the fight, and not so much the song. I could be wrong about that, but like nothing really like stood out. The only thing I caught in that whole time was that little kind of returning motif where it was like dun, da, da, da. Everything else seemed like it just kind of blended together. So maybe this is one of those reasons where 12 may not be as popular, where if the whole soundtrack sounds like this, I could see that maybe, for lack of a better word, maybe dampening your opinion of the game. Because if you can't distinguish maybe song 1 from song 5 to 12 to 13, and they all kind of blend together, then that kind of, for me at least, takes a lot of the experience away. And there's no like individuality between the tracks, which is really big for me. I think this is more of like, it just needs the game with it to really stand out. And that's really nothing against this type of music, because as a musician, right, like I really appreciate the orchestral thing. You know, I know there's a bunch of people, and this sounds like a live performance, in this room, and they're the best in the world at what they do, all collectively together. But it's less about like remembering a melody or a hook or this loop or something. It's just more about, for me, it just sounds like it's putting you more of a, basically what I'm saying, like if there was no music, it would be completely awkward, right? If it just was nothing there. So I feel like, it sounds kind of mean, but I feel like this is kind of the sound of like something has to be there, if that makes any sense. This is kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to this kind of music on the channel. I've heard it a couple times. It's such a bizarre thing for me, because I love all styles of music. And, you know, mind you, I just went to Distant Worlds not too long ago, and I pretty much heard this. You know, this is basically what Distant Worlds is. And as I've said before, it's just, you know, you got to be there. You have to experience it, you have to feel it, and it's a whole different thing. or you grew up with it or something. But as someone who's like blindly checking it out years later on its own, I mean, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you already know this song and you know this game, and you may like the game or you may not like the game, but you are familiar with it. Not very few, but there's probably the minority that are like me, where they're just experiencing it for the first time like this. Nothing really stands out. It's just kind of there. I don't know how else to put it like that without it sounding, kind of negative, but it's just there. And I don't know. For a final boss, I don't know. I guess what's the word I'm looking for? I've been spoiled. There's a good word for it. Now, I never played Final Fantasy up until this channel started, and I got introduced to 7 and then 8. And I've heard different composers too, even in the FF world, not just Naboo. But those songs have like more or less stood out to me. That's the reason I played those games. I think me listening to 12 would kind of have the opposite effect on me. I probably would stay away from it. And I'm just being honest, right? I can't like everything. But like I said, this is kind of that weird gray area where it's like, I don't hate it and I don't dislike it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to hear it again. That type of thing. It's just like a very neutral gray area. Like, clearly talented, clearly took a lot of prowess to write that. That's a long piece and a lot of talented people writing it, but it's just, I don't know. It was just there. It's the only way I can describe it. It felt like it took a while to start up. Like maybe there's a whole lot of dialogue before this, and it was just kind of dragging, I guess. So my question to the FF12 community, specifically if you've played this or have experienced this game, is, bias aside, whether you like this game or not, are these songs, I'm making a safe assumption here, are these songs all kind of the same? Or are there actually some standout tracks that you think would be worth, checking out, or that have stuck with you throughout your life or something like that? Maybe I've just had not the greatest first impression, but I don't think it's fair to maybe like judge the entire soundtrack if I haven't even heard it. But all I'm saying is it's just more of like, you had to be there. Oh man, like, it's the whole experience. You can't have the peanut butter without the jelly and the bread. You can't just have peanut butter. Well, some people can have peanut butter by themselves, but I'm just saying it's the whole package. But as a final boss, I've heard orchestral stuff as a final boss and it can work really well. But as this one, I just felt like I felt like I was consistently waiting for something. And not necessarily it has to be heavy, fast, or anything. It doesn't have to be anything for a boss battle. I was just expecting it to just not kind of sit in this rhythm over and over and over, and it just felt kind of like, I guess, like a tease. It just felt like it was steady, and there was hints of little like drum rolls here, and then it just came back down. So it just felt very one-dimensional to me. So that's it. I can't hate on it. I don't dislike it, but I'm not going to say that I super enjoyed it. It was just, I felt like I listened to a song for 9 minutes. It's the only way I can put it. But if you guys didn't want my real opinions, then I don't see why you would watch me anyways, because I can't like everything, and eventually stuff is going to kind of blend, and this was one of them. So just being honest. The struggle for freedom from FF12, the Zodiac Age. Let me know how the game is, though. I don't want to be all, negative Nancy here. Like, let me know how the game is actually. I'm still curious about this stuff. Let me know more about Hitoshi. I know they've done a lot. I don't even know if I've covered him on the channel before. So I'm just, as always, I'm curious. I just want to be like, well, that song didn't meet my expectations, which I don't have any, so let's cut it off. No, I still like to give everything the benefit of the doubt. And that's just the way it is. You know, it's a numbers thing. If I listen to 1,000 songs, I'm not going to like all 1,000 of them. There's bound to be the stuff that, in this case, it was a mixture of I've been spoiled with previous FFs that sounded, or other FFs that sounded better. But on top of that, even if I've never heard those FFs, this would have still left the same impression on me. So, yeah. So, but anyways, I thank you for the request at Wishby. Even if it's not maybe something you wanted to hear. At least, I'm being honest. Sorry. But not sorry. If you want to make a request to me, you could do so on Patreon or PayPal, and I will check out your VGM request. A big thank you to my Platinum Trophy supporters. Those are the people that skipped the line as opposed to waiting in that gigantic waitlist. Those are Justin, Kevin, Moon Knight, DJ Singletone, Your Average Metalhead, and Mushi Mary. Thanks to all the FF fans, all the non-FF fans. Thanks to Wishwe again, also for drawing my latest Twitch emote. Thank you, it's amazing. And everyone else, a big thank you to all my supporters. Thank you for watching, and my name is Jesse. This has been The Auditorium. Peace.